Good morning, good morning. Today it's all about parenting issues. Kids, huh? A perfect angel 1 minute and throwing screaming tantrums the next. Kids, what do we do them? We love them with all of our hearts, and yet we struggle to live with them at the same time sometimes. So my guest is going to help us with that this morning. Sarita is joining me to address this mystery for parents about kids of all ages. Sarita Khalsa is a retired nurse, a holistic pain relief coach, a life coach, a best-selling author, a motivational speaker, and an energy worker from Brisbane here in Australia, in Queensland. She's a mum of 2 adult children and school-aged triplets with special needs. Please welcome to the show this amazing, beautiful woman, Sarita Khalsa. Hello, thank you so much for joining me this morning. What a treat we have in store for everybody.
Thank you so much for having me, Elisa. It's a
Good
pleasure
morning.
to be here.
It's lovely to have you here. So how this works, guys, if you're watching on Facebook, that's awesome. We're streaming live on Facebook across a few different channels, and you're very welcome to share that if this helps somebody today. And also we're streaming live to YouTube, to all my YouTube fans. Now, every single Friday we do this experts interview, and every week we have a different guest. So it's all about helping our audience go from where they are struggling at the moment and help them through somewhere better, to a better place, giving your holistic business, of course, a voice. Now we have Ice just joined us. Fantastic. Thank you so much for being there, Ice. And also Chris from Belgium. Hi, Chris. It's lovely to see you here. Welcome to the show this morning. So let's dive in. So we're talking about kids and actions and reactions, but just to give the audience a little bit of understanding of how you even came to get to where you are as a holistic pain coach and a parenting coach, and your book journey, give us a little wrap up of what brought you to this place.
This place, I originally started as a nurse. I worked in brain injuries as a specialty and absolutely loved my job. Unfortunately, I met with a car accident and that ended my nursing career. So, unable to nurse anymore, which was my absolute passion. I didn't want to let that go, and it took me a long time to actually recognize that I couldn't go back into nursing again. But I didn't want to lose my mental skills, if you will, even though I'd lost my physical skills. So I trained myself further with the brain injury side of things and how the brain worked. So I studied more into the quantum physics side of things and chronic pain side of things, and developed myself into the holistic side. And, long story short, ended up in this side as a holistic life coach, and tried to help people now in, excuse me, as a chronic pain relief coach, because I believe there's so many people out there now that need help, especially in these dire times we've got at the moment, that are struggling to get back to normality, or the new normality, if we will, which we don't understand. Even I struggle to understand. I'm human too, and there's just days that we all have where we struggle, and we just need that extra pair of eyes, an extra pair of hands going, this is the path we should be on. So I've just done that extra study to go, okay, this is how it should be navigated, I suppose, how the brain works, because I've just always been intrigued with how the brain works. And children and the connection with how parenting works has always intrigued me. But, my journey with with parenting started with my own life, I suppose, because I had my first child at 17. So I was married at 16, had my first son at 17, and my second son came along at 20, and I then had my triplets at 33, and
Wow.
so the triplets were born through IVF, and it was a long journey, several miscarriages in between. So
Wow.
it's been a long parenting journey, and two marriages in between the children, and of course all through that. So I retired as a nurse naturally because of the car accident. I, with the first marriage, it was domestic violence. So I went through all that. I married my second husband. We've since divorced. So I've been through the split families. I've been through the shared care with my older boys. I've been through the court battles. I've been through, so 10 years I was in court with my first husband,
Wow.
because
Crazy.
he was brutal. He was absolutely brutal. So it was just, it was just, no, I'm not going to go down that path
Yeah.
today.
I know, and that's fine.
That's not
So
what
let's
today's
get on to the
about.
parenting journey too, because I believe that that's a new book
Yeah,
coming out for you, and this has
it
obviously
is.
been a very, very long and arduous journey that you've learned a lot. So when you're talking about kids and you help people with parenting now, a lot
Yes,
of what you talk about is actions and reactions. So give us a little
absolutely.
bit more into that. Now, I know that there may be a lot of people out there who are very emotionally intelligent and aware of all these sorts of terms, but if
Mhm.
you're not and you're not instigating this yet, listen up, because this is going to really, really be important for you.
Thank you. Okay, so action versus reaction. A lot of people are aware of the terms, but what I found was even myself being, having gone through university, having gone through TAFE, having gone through high school, primary school, studied in a Western country, it doesn't matter what you've done, been through so many books and being a bookworm, life skills even, doesn't matter what you've done, just knowing those terms, even, it doesn't matter, the terminology, but it still doesn't resonate. People still at this stage don't know what actions and reactions actually mean because they don't know the context. They don't know the
Mhm.
context in which to apply it to different situations. It is as simple as what we do as parents, your kids are actually going to pick up. And
Yeah.
that means internally what we feel as parents, what we feel, the vibes that we feel, even when we're pregnant, even when we're trying to conceive. And this is what people don't realize: when we're trying to conceive, not even having conceived yet, when we're trying to fall pregnant, our kids, not even yet born, will actually pick up on that energy. And
Yeah.
that is
Oh,
the
absolutely.
formation of the child that you're creating. And
Yeah,
that is their
absolutely.
set personality for life. They say, the scientists say the first 2 years forms the child's personality. Well, when you look at it on a holistic approach, so on top of the books the book knowledge, and like I said, I've studied, um, and how the brain works. I've actually gone and done the holistic side as well. So I've done energy work, and in theatre healing, we have studied, your effects do multiply 6 generations back and 6 generations forth. So whatever you're doing to yourself now does take an effect on your upcoming 6 generations. So you can
Mhm.
actually have an impact, so your vibes, whatever vibes you're putting onto yourself, it's not even out to the world. So if you show yourself anger, if you show yourself love, if you show yourself fear, whatever you're showing yourself, and that's genuinely, Genuinely, it's not to say that you feel fear, but you're hiding it, because the fear is still there.
Yeah.
That is going to impact on your children.
Yeah, look, absolutely.
That's the action and the reaction.
Right. So can you give us a tangible example of action versus reaction with a parenting issue so people can understand the context?
Okay, so at the moment, we have so I'm not going to go for a current thing, but I will go back to my boys' time, Grand Theft Auto. So when they were younger, Grand Theft Auto was a big thing. I don't know if it is now, but video games in general, rated M, or we have big issues with ratings. They used to come back from their dads with these Grand Theft Auto, GTA games. And I had no idea. I'm not a gaming person, and they used to play these games. And my second husband at the time, he picked them up and he's going, "Do you realize what your boys are playing?" And I said, "No, they're from their dads, And he's going, "Well, they're quite gruesome games. You should have a look at them." And when I actually saw them, it was like, oh my God, they're absolutely quite horrific. So it's a passive action, which their dad and myself by default were doing, but the kids were reacting to it by actually role-playing the characters in those games.
Yeah, I see that too.
The action was the video games that we had allowed these kids to go, okay, my action was different to their father's action. Their father had just given them the games and gone, okay, off be it, you're out of my hair. My action was, well, their dad's given it. I can't do anything about it because I don't have that power in me. Now, this is a DV case. He's going to get angry at me. He's going to, do God knows what to me. So I don't have that power. But they are getting away with it. The children are getting away with it. And just playing. So I confiscated all those games, and I think it took about a week to see the results. They were all of a sudden kind human beings again.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that that's happening a lot at the moment with children, is because of COVID, because parents are working, they're just on their computers all day long, and it's not good for their brains. I notice kids get worse, and people get worse when we're locked in a room with only a computer and we don't have that external factor of interaction with human beings. It's really taking a toll on a lot of people. So let's move on so we can get through all these questions today. So one of the titles that you wrote is, "What are our children really thinking?" What was the idea behind that question?
So what are our children really thinking? I just want parents to be aware that what our children are really thinking is not what they're actually saying. So what our children are actually relaying to us is not what they're saying. The biggest example I can give for that, as a nurse or a medical background, when your child, especially a young child, so I'm talking about up to a teenage level, when they say they've got a stomach ache, more than often that comes from anxiety.
Absolutely. I used to see that in all my students when they were going through a divorce in America. The little ones would come in and they have a bellyache and sit in the corner of my studio and didn't want to sing or speak, and it was because what they're going through. That is so important for people to know.
Absolutely. A stomach actually is connected to the head. A stomach ache in children is actually a headache. It's a tension headache. So that is one thing. Children are sponges. They will pick up more than you know. They will not speak, but they will draw all information. And as we said before, they will pick up on our vibes, not just what we say, but what we feel as well. So they are picking up on our energy. They are picking up on how we react with other people, how we act with other people. And then you'll see them all reacting with each other that way.
Yeah.
So going back to action versus reaction, I have a little thing called process in the middle. So I say action, process, reaction. Don't
Great.
forget that process in the middle.
Yeah.
So if you
Brilliant.
have an action, make sure you process that action before you react to something.
Bingo.
Kids
Absolutely. It's
can't
like that little,
process.
yeah, exactly. It's
Pause.
like that little gap, that pause is so
Hmm.
important. So I believe you've written a
Absolutely.
book about all of this because of all your journey and the things that you've learned with raising 5 children. Tell us a little bit about your book and what people will learn when they purchase your book.
So the book has not been published yet. It is in situ. So at this stage, I have got my first book that's been published. So it's an
Great.
Amazon bestseller. So it is available on Amazon. So what it is Love Your Pain series. So there's a trilogy. So the first book is Chronic Illnesses, how I found myself after chronic illnesses, and you can too. So the second book is on parenting issues, and you can find that out on my website. For pre-launch, there is a special deal available on my website. And the third book available is on domestic violence. So they will both be released very shortly. Early into the next year, unfortunately, I got told that because of the Christmas break, the editors are on leave. So we are looking at next year,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
that's a shame. Yeah,
So
these things happen at this time of the year. So great. So you've already answered that question. How can people find you? So let's actually give them, I think that Ice is going to do us a favor and put underneath this video your socials and your website and everything so you can be
wonderful.
easily found, which is great. Yeah, great. So we've just had someone from YouTube. Hi, July. It's lovely to see you. Or Julie, maybe. I'm
Goodbye.
not sure how to pronounce
July.
your name. It looks like July, but hi, it's lovely to have you here live. Thanks to the Voice of Confidence TV with Elisa James. It's great to be here. A very interesting topic you have today. I got to see all the other videos too. That's awesome. It's lovely to have you here.
Awesome.
If you have any questions about parenting or about reactions, please let us know. Just pop it in the chat underneath while we're live. And let's go to the last question now. Because of all this, you've got all your holistic pain stuff, you've got DV in your background, you've got all these accidents and things that have happened to you, and then moving into parenting. What would be your best advice for people who are struggling with holistic health issues, pain, and also maybe parenting issues, and they're feeling like it's all a bit too much?
Ask for help. Don't
Brilliant.
do it
Yeah.
on your own. That is always my number one tip.
Yeah.
Always ask for help.
I
People do
don't think
not
a lot of people
ask for help.
actually do that, do they?
They
There's
don't.
so
They
much that we
don't.
suffer in silence, especially as
Hmm.
adults. Yeah.
Absolutely. And especially in the COVID time, there is so much options that the government has put out. There is so much, relief options, and there is so much, so much that people can actually access now. So I actually take on NDIS clients. So if there
Oh,
is
great.
anyone on NDIS, they're not actually losing anything out of their pocket. It comes out of their funding. So
Great.
if you're
That's
plan
really good to know.
managed, absolutely. So if they're plan managed or self managed, so I can support you as well. And same with children. So I do support families, I support relationships, so couples counselling. I do, therapies. I do for couples, individuals, families, all those, individuals that need, or group therapy as well, that need support. So it's just a matter of calling out for help. But like I said, or call Lifeline at the very least.
Yeah.
There's just phone numbers where you can remain anonymous
Yeah.
and just pick up the phone. It's as simple as that. Pick up the phone. You don't have to say your name. You don't have to say who you are. Just someone to talk to, someone to vent to, and just have that peace of mind knowing that you're not alone. It is such a
Yeah.
big thing. Such a
Yeah,
big thing, just to know that someone else out there is in the same boat as you can just make
absolutely.
that day go a little bit easier,
Yeah,
you know?
and I think that's the hardest thing for some people, especially if they're shy or anxious, or they're feeling like they're going to be judged for not coping,
Absolutely.
or being stressed.
Yeah,
And I've been through those so many times in my life until there was a
we all
massive
have.
collapse. And then I made a phone call, and it just takes the pressure off. It just feels like this weight is lifted to be able to,
Absolutely.
cry and talk to somebody about it and know that it's okay. It's
Exactly.
okay to be human. It's
It's
okay to feel
okay.
emotion. Yeah, so please don't suffer in silence if you're watching
Yeah,
this. Reach out. Sarita is here to help.
absolutely.
And I've just seen that my beautiful assistant Ice has put all of your links, how to find you, underneath the posts,
Thank you.
both on Facebook and also on YouTube. So if you are
Wonderful.
somebody that needs a little bit of help right now, please reach out. You'll see lots of places that you can go and get some help. And please thank my beautiful
Absolutely.
guest, Sarita, for joining me today. It's been my pleasure hosting
Thank
this
you.
show.
Connect with your
Yeah.
children, just have a chat, and
Yeah.
that's the very least you can do. Just spend half an hour with your children, just play a game with them. Don't play a game that you want to play, play a game that the children want to play. Ask them what they want. Because
Yeah.
that's the very least you can do. Just ask the children what they want for a change, and you'll be surprised what they come up with. They're more clever than you think, because you gave birth to them. They are
Okay. Brilliant.
they
Brilliant way
are
to
yours. Right?
end. Yeah, brilliant way to
Mm,
end. Thank you so much. I hope everyone got value out of that. Let's just check the comments one more time. Um, let's see here. Okay, Ice has put everything and your events, which is fantastic. So she's got
wonderful. Thank you,
everything
Ice.
underneath that. So thank you so much for being here, and thank you for sharing your love and your wisdom. We really
Thanks,
appreciate it.
Alyssa.
And everyone
Wonderful. It
have
was
a
a great
great
pleasure.
weekend. Thank you for watching on the
Thank you.
Voice of
See you,
Positivity
everyone.
Week. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Yeah. Bye-bye.